Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps lots. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. Alright folks, here we are after market close on Wednesday, April 20th. We're going to take a look at Palantir. Palantir was the big winner in a little quick poll that I ran on Twitter. The handle to my Twitter is in my in the description below. Oh boy, which social platform is this? In case you want to follow me there. But in any case, I pulled up the old Palantir daily chart and look at this ruckus from, so long ago that we're tracking it and sort of the last hurrah here, right? That purple, if you've seen my charts before, purple is where I look for a bounce. And it was settling in against this descending triangle of resistance, angling in on the potential bounce, and it lost it there. And when it lost it and it came back and rejected that 1722 level that we had put in, it sold off really hard, right? And it hasn't recovered since. Essentially, it put itself in this like 14.5 to like 11.5 range. So at this point, everything is so far away from the old levels. I just wanted to point that out for nostalgia's sake. Might as well get rid of them. And but I think it's sort of valuable to put a couple of key things in here. Now, one thing that looks logical to me is to sort of put in those levels that we just talked about, right? You have this level here, which is support that turned to resistance, about 12.25, and then you have this. It's a little bit. I mean, if you want like a good breakout level, it's probably going to be over that like psychological 15. To be honest, I would just toss one right at about 15, and just say, getting up and over 15, which is going to stretch over this 1486 swing high, and any confirmation or any basing over that level would give it the potential to move out of this range that it's stuck in at the moment. And then beyond that, this 1346. These are the four levels that I pay attention to. I'll put one down. I mean, I hope not for the bulls, but if we do need one down, I look for potential bouncy action, like $1 lower, unfortunately, around 11.13. And as you know, dollar with the price of a stock being this low is quite a percentage loss. So so that's what I would look at levels wise. Now, the other interesting thing, I don't know if this is going to make the chart look really unusable, but we'll see what it does. You have like this channel that looks to potentially be taking shape, right? So let's put this in white so it kind of sticks out here. So you have this potential up channel, maybe interplaying with some of these levels, and it'll be interesting to kind of see how that evolves over time. So right now it's sitting mid to low range of the channel and sitting right about midpoint between 1224 and 1346. And so, it's just a couple of candles away from having recently tested the bottom. And that's pretty decent. It's confirmed it here, confirmed the upper bound of the channel here, and then came down. And if this holds, this is a nice additional reconfirm. And what I would look for it to do is, try really hard to make an attempt back up toward the top of the upper bound of the channel again. I haven't talked about channels in so long. I'm forgetting my upper bound and lower bound of the channel. But if it does make a run, I mean, it would depend how quickly it ran up toward there, right? But if it did run up in sort of like a methodical manner, that could give it the stretch that it needs to test some movement over 15. And if that's the case, it would be really interesting to see sort of what happens there, just because that stretches it up and over this previous level, like that 14.5 level, which is what cut it off here several times. I don't know prior to that how much play this got. Yeah, I mean, all of these hold up really well, right? Like if you had put these levels in during this time frame, like it would have looked very, very similar. you'd have a level up here probably, right around just over 16. I mean, at this point too, the other way to look at these is this is about 11 and a half. This is about 12 and a quarter, 13 and a half, 14 and a half, and 15, right? So it's mostly on like the 50 cents and the dollar. The one sort of deviant from there, or maybe the two deviants from there, I would say are 12.24 and 11.30. But other than that, if it stretches over 13, then yeah, I do think you're sort of on the 50 cents till you get up and over 15. So it'll be interesting to see if this channel continues to play out or not, but thought I would bring that to folks' attention. If you're familiar with playing channels, this could be a good opportunity. Don't know how long it'll stay in the channel. All channels eventually break is the other thing to keep in mind. I mean, this could like take the elevator down for some reason in the next few days and break below the channel, right? Like that could obviously happen. So just keep in mind, like all channels eventually break, but if you do buy in close to a bound of a channel, or go short toward the upper bound of the channel, you keep a tight stop loss, and that's where your sort of risk to reward comes in. And if it does hold this channel for a while, you can go long toward the bottom and short toward the top, time after time after time. And then eventually when you do hit your stop loss, the idea here is you've played it to the upside and the downside so many times and reaped the benefits of those plays so many times that one small loss that hits your stop loss when you've bought very close to your risk is like well worth the many times that you won. I don't know if that made sense, but in any case, that's what I'm going to be looking at. And then if we want to like bring in here just for the sake of having a look, the 50 MA came and has come down to swoop in. Now, obviously, this is in a bearish formation here, but it is swooping in to try and hold support here pretty strong since like the very end of March, or like the third week of March, I guess. So for about the last month, it's come in and it's trying really hard to hold support. So that'll be interesting to see. And then on the EMAs, they're really kind of like jumbled up here, almost like Bollinger Bands. They're kind of like compressing, sort of consolidating, waiting for the next big move. And then on the MACD, it is holding right at or slightly above the baseline. And looks like it might throw a bullish crossover. Could be a nice area to throw a bullish crossover here and sort of like give that additional oomph or confirmation that maybe it's going to try to stretch, make a run and gun toward the top of that channel. I mean, keep in mind, the mid-range of the channel can become quite challenging too. Like you see here when it was just forming the channel, but if it had already been in here, for example, comes down, tests the bottom, bounces off, and then doesn't quite get to the top, right? This is about half or maybe 65% of the way toward the top, comes down and retests again, and then it makes a nice run for the top and then comes down. So, it wouldn't be unheard of to see this come and maybe sort of like attempt this 14 and a half area and then come down and retest again and then like make a bigger move, or something like that, some variant of that. But just keep in mind, this doesn't it holding the channel also doesn't mean that it has to go top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. Like there could be some levels in there where it sort of chops around for an extended period of time before it makes that clean run to the top or that clean breakdown to the bottom. So just something to keep an eye on. And like I said, all channels eventually break, so this will be kaput maybe very soon, maybe not for a while, who knows, but just please keep that in mind. All right, folks, I hope you had a happy hump day, and as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.